Okay. Oh, fantastic. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I've had to download. I'm now on my browser. Zoom's not playing ball today, so apologies for that. Test in patience. Thank you all for your patience and for waiting. Just giving a few people a message. All right. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to see anyone's faces. That's quite weird. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you're all well. Yeah, just having to take a moment because these technical issues do make me want to throw my computer out the window. But we can move on now. Yeah, now we're a bit late, but anyway. Hopefully you've all got the time to wait. So starting off today, I had kind of sat quietly and tapped into the energy of where we are right now and kind of what's happening. And then all the chaos erupted with Zoom, and that kind of flew out of my window, out of my mind. So I'm just going to give myself a moment to just breathe back into that space. Okay. So we've had a good week of planets going retrograde again, and we've got all of these massive players, planetary players that are now in retrograde. You would have thought Mercury was in retrograde with all of this going on today, but it's not. I think it only goes into Mercury goes retrograde next month. But part of what this retrograde time is offering us is an opportunity to really move deeply within us, and to be able to access our own wisdom, our own truth, and that kind of ancient part of us that actually knows exactly why we are here, what we are doing, and the purpose for our lives. I think for a lot of us, there's a search for understanding around why am I here, what is my purpose, and we search for those answers in many different ways, and often with having, I know I certainly did it, with having thousands of readings with people, trying to get clarity and insight into what I'm doing in this lifetime, what is my purpose, what am I here to do, looking and searching for this information and this title, but actually recognizing and realizing that my life is my purpose, that there isn't this separate avenue or separate aspect of me that engages in my soul purpose. I am my soul purpose. My daily life is my soul purpose. And I think it's quite hard to kind of get our heads around that, when we can often think that, the mundane aspect of life has nothing to do with that greater purpose of what our soul has chosen to embody and incarnate into in this lifetime. But actually, that isn't true. We are certainly sorry, I've got some messages coming on through here. Give me a second. There we go. Apologies for that. So getting back to our soul purpose. So the reason that we are being given this opportunity with all these retrograde planets is so that we can have this opportunity to delve more and more into what is that purpose? What are we actively engaging in our lives, in our day-to-day life, in the mundane aspect of our life. I've always loved the title of a book that I read many, many years ago, which was called After the Enlightenment, The Laundry. And for me, it is just so active about what our path is as a spiritual, conscious, and aware being. You know, we have these moments of enlightenment and we have these moments of expanded awareness, and then suddenly we wake up the next day and it's gone. And we have to engage in the world, in the mundane. We have to do the laundry, we have to do the dishes, we have to fetch the children from school, we have to do homework, we have to eat, sleep, do all of those kind of mundane human things. And we forget that that is actually part of what our purpose is on this planet. And there is that whole Buddhist philosophy around being mindful and in a meditative state when you do the mundane things like washing the dishes or doing the laundry. And I certainly don't always manage to stay in that mindful state when I'm doing those mundane things. But they can be that opportunity. And I think we're certainly being given the time now to engage in those mundane activities and recognize how we participate in our day-to-day lives. What is the energy that we are bringing to those mundane tasks? What is the energy that we are bringing to the work that we are engaged in, the people that we are in relationship with? What is the energy that we are bringing? Is it an energy that is that has a foundation in our ego, or is it an energy that has a foundation in our soul? And we're being offered this opportunity to really realign ourselves on every single level with that soul aspect. And for most people, we don't understand what the soul is. We confuse the soul with the spirit. It's not the same thing. The soul is often described as being the personality of the spirit. The spirit is the essence of us that is exactly the same as everyone else. Everyone else has exactly the same spirit. It looks the same, it feels the same. The essence is exactly the same. But the soul is different. The soul energy is different. And the vehicle that we've chosen in this lifetime to incarnate in reflects that difference. So all of us, on a human perspective, look different, which represents the individuality of our soul essence. And I think for most of us, we certainly have lived a life where that awareness of our soul has not been encouraged. We've been taught to look outside of ourselves, to define ourselves by what the world dictates and asks of us. We haven't necessarily been given an opportunity to expand into that the truth and the wisdom that our soul contains and our soul holds. So really, that is what this time is about: is expanding into that space, expanding into our wisdom, expanding into our truth, expanding into our light. And for some people, that can be really, really difficult, because a lot of why we suppress that part of ourselves is because the suffering or the trauma or the pain that we've carried in our lifetime is stronger. Sorry, I'm just going to mute you if that is. The trauma and the pain and the emotional pain and trauma that we've carried through our lifetimes is often acts as a barrier to that soul essence and to that soul energy. And so we need to move through that barrier, and we need to release and to heal the trauma and the pain that we carry on that level, so that we can access that wisdom and that truth within us. So a lot of what we're doing at the moment is moving into those deeper parts of ourselves. We're moving into the parts of ourselves that hold resistance, the emotions that we've carried maybe for lifetimes that we no longer need moving forward. It's also asking us to really focus on, I suppose, on an internal spring clean. And how do we do that? How do we spring clean our entire being so that we can actually move into a new reality or into a new life and surrender into that new way of being? without carrying the past with us. So for most people, it is about looking at ourselves in different areas. So I always like to unpack the entire being as you are a physical being, you are an emotional being, you are a mental being, and you are a spiritual being. So those are the 4 levels that we kind of need to tap into. So we can start with the physical. What we've been doing this entire year so far, it feels like, has been caught up in the physical. We've been caught up in the anxiety and fear around getting ill, in getting the virus that has been that has created this pandemic and resulted in all these lockdowns and our entire world coming to practically a standstill. So we've been very focused on that physical body and recognizing, we need to look after it, we need to boost our immune systems, all of that kind of stuff. So there's been this focus on the physical. What I'm seeing for us moving forward into certainly this week is a focus shifting from the physical and more into the emotional stuff. So what is it on an emotional level that you're needing to clear out or clean out? What are the emotions that you've carried that you no longer need? Maybe those emotions are grief, sadness, resentment, bitterness, frustration, anger. Those are the ones that are just coming to mind, but there can be a lot more. And I think it's as we move into this week, those emotions are certainly going to be triggered within us to enable us to start to work with them and to heal them and to let them go. Often what happens, and I see it often, is that people carry an emotion from a trauma that has happened in the past that actually has no relevance anymore in this reality that you are in today. It has no relevance in this moment and in this present moment. So we carry these things like baggage that is something that we need to let go of and we need to release. And it can just be the energy of these emotions that we've carried that sometimes needs to be released. So you'll need to assess as we move forward, what is coming up, what is being triggered, how is it being triggered, who is it being triggered by, what are the memories that sit behind those emotions that are being triggered, what are those memories that are coming up for release, those experiences that you're having. I know a couple of weeks ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, I found myself waking up really early in the morning, and not being a morning person, I don't want to get up really early in the morning. So I would just lie there in the hopes that I'd go back to sleep and wake up at a more reasonable hour. And I found my mind going back to times and experiences that I had in the past that I still carried some embarrassment about, some shame about, some sadness about. And it went on actually for probably a week or two. And almost every day of this, starting my day was really processing these emotions that I had kind of been carrying since those experiences. And those emotions and those feelings weren't even relevant to now. And things that I hadn't thought about in years. But obviously the energy was still there, the emotions were still there, the shame was still there, the embarrassment was still there, and the sadness was still there. So even though it was just, it kind of felt like residue of all of that stuff. It wasn't, I didn't feel completely triggered by it. It was just interesting to observe it all coming up and working with it to release it. So that's the kind of feeling that I have, is that these feelings and these emotions are going to be coming to the surface for you to look at. They're being triggered for you to be able to work through them and to let them go. And it really is this deep, deep, deep sense of spring cleaning that's happening. And often these things sit in our subconscious mind and they play out. And I don't know if any of you have been having really vivid and intense dreams over the last week or so. I certainly have. Some of them I remember, others I kind of wake up in the night remembering the dream, but wake up in the morning and it's all gone. But I'm really feeling like I'm processing a lot at night and really moving through a lot of stuff, spring cleaning my subconscious mind and preparing it to be clearer and more receptive to where I'm moving to and what's happening in my life moving forward, and the changes that need to happen. And I think that, you know, when we can let go of the past and the energy and all of those negative thoughts or feelings we have around the trauma or the pain of the past, when we can let go of that, we create the space for the new to emerge. And we create space for us to be able to access the soul and the information and the wisdom and the guidance that lies within that part of ourselves. It truly is time for us to really, really access that. And if you follow me on social media, or you get my daily emails, you'll know it's something I bang on about almost every day. This aspect of the soul and how we are needing to connect with it and reconnect with it, so that we can actually start consciously working with that part of ourselves. I hope that's all making sense. Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask around what I'm saying? You might have to just type it up in the chat bar, which should be at the bottom or on the right-hand side of your screen. And then, you know, getting back to with what I started with regards to the kind of mundane aspect of our lives, and really starting to look into that aspect. How do we do our day-to-day lives? You know, being in lockdown is an interesting time to observe how we are certainly, you know, having to cook and clean and spend time with our family, spend time with our children. I mean, I don't think I've spent this much time with my kids in years. Being teenagers, they don't really want to hang around mom. They want to be out and off with their friends. So there's a lot more time that we are spending together, and there's a lot more interaction that we're having. And it's just interesting to observe you know, how I'm getting to know my children on a different level and in a different way. And how we're having to learn to live together in a way that we haven't for a while, because I'm an adult and they're almost adults. And so there's a shift that's happening in our relationship that is, yeah, it definitely is bringing up stuff for all of us. I'm certainly having to step back and allow them more of their own independence and their own saying things. And they're having to step up and be a little bit more responsible with regards to, you know, helping around the house and cooking and all of that sort of stuff. So it's been an interesting shift in how things generally work in my home. And you know, I've also been observing how I'm engaged with the energy of each day. And, you know, I mean, I think I've said it before, in the beginning of lockdown, had these very nice rhythms and routines going. Those have gone out the window. And we're just lucky that we are eating 3 meals a day and getting enough sleep. And hopefully not waking up too early. But it certainly is this time of reassessing the mundane parts of our lives. What am I doing and how am I doing it? And also appreciating the fact that I am able to do these things. I think that a lot of people struggle to feel the connection that they, you know, that they're looking for this, I don't know what to call it, the spiritual experience, and yet you get trapped in the mundane aspect of life, and it doesn't feel too spiritual. But actually, we need to start making it spiritual. We need to start making everything that we do conscious. We need to start being and holding an expanded view and awareness while we are doing everything, including the mundane. So this is almost like a time of practice. If you can master this during these times of lockdown, and master the mundane and the kind of Zen Buddhist philosophy of engaging in a meditation every time you do something mundane, you're building strength, and you're building I suppose a kind of muscle that will enable you to maintain that level of connectedness to yourself, and awareness in the moment, being present in the moment. if we are truly to manifest and create a new reality for ourselves and for our world, and to bring that into form, we need to be present in the moment. The inspiration and the ideas that we need and the clarity and the guidance that we need comes when we are present in the moment. It doesn't come when we are focused on the past or on the future. We need to be here now. So this is a time of practice for that, for that kind of stuff. And also recognizing that actually, you know, we are always connected to ourselves. We are always connected to that soul aspect of ourselves. The disconnect happens because our awareness is not in the present moment. Our consciousness is not in the present moment. We're thinking about something that's happened in the past, or we're projecting something into the future. And it's about learning to stay connected in the present moment so that we get the insight, the inspiration, and the guidance to do what we need to be doing, to find the solutions that we need for ourselves, for our life, and for our world. I hope that makes a whole lot of sense. And that's kind of what the energy is revealing moving into this week. So again, just being aware of the emotions that are being triggered, the residue of that energy, of that emotions in the past that is needing to be cleared and released. When it starts happening and it starts coming up, just recognize that's what's happening. Work with it. Don't try and suppress it. Don't try and push those emotions back to those dark holes that they've been hidden in. If anyone's got any questions they'd like to say, or anything they'd like to share, please go ahead. And then we can move on to some meditating. Okay. All right. Okay, well then let's move on to some meditation. Again, I just allow myself to be guided through this process as much as I'm guiding you through it. So when you are ready, just settle yourself into a comfortable space. And close your eyes. And just draw your awareness down to your breath. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And allowing your body to settle. Allowing your mind to settle. Letting go of all worries and concerns that you're carrying for the day. Just feeling your body relaxing. Letting go of any tension that you're holding in your body. Just allow it to let go, to relax. And draw your awareness down to your feet. And through your feet, feel the connection that you have to the earth. And as you become aware of that connection, just feel a wave of energy moving from the earth into your feet and up your body and into your heart center. Now move your awareness to the top of your head, to your crown, and through your crown, feel the connection that you have to the divine source of all creation. As you allow that connection, you feel a wave of energy moving down into your head, down your body, and into your heart. Allowing this energy to merge and to blend with the earth energy. Now allowing that energy, that blended energy now, to expand outwards to totally encompass you in a ball of light. And allow this light now to cleanse, to clear, and to purify your entire energy system. Cleansing, clearing, and washing away all negative emotions, negative feelings, negative energies, and the memory of negative people, places, and things. As this clearing happens, feel your body, your energy body, becoming stronger. And now dropping your awareness back into your heart center. And from this space emerges a path. And you step forward onto the path and you begin to follow it. And the path opens to a beautiful space in nature. You step into the space and you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. You breathe in the fresh air. You breathe in the peace and the serenity of the space. And you allow yourself to relax. As you look around this beautiful space, you see that there is a large tree with branches that reach high into the sky and a root system that reaches deep into the earth. And you move towards the tree. And you allow yourself to connect with the tree, wrapping your arms around its trunk. You allow yourself to merge with the tree, to become one with the tree. And you feel your branches as they move high into the sky, reaching towards the light, towards the sun. You feel them waving gently in the breeze and the leaves rustling. You feel the warmth of the sun as it moves into your branches, into your leaves. Feel it moving down your trunk and into the root system that moves deep into the earth. And you feel this connection to the earth. You feel the support of the earth. You feel how it nurtures you and sustains you and holds you. And through this connection with the tree and this merging with the tree, you remember your connection to the earth, to nature, to all of life. You feel your awareness expanding, your consciousness expanding from this tree outwards to connect to the plants and the flowers, the animals and the birds. You feel yourself connected to this web of life. And you allow yourself to feel the love that you have for the earth, for nature, and for all of life. And you allow this love to flow from your heart into this web of life. And you feel that love return to you. And now drawing your awareness back, you step away from the tree. Thanking it for its support and its love. And you allow yourself now to find a quiet space to sit in this beautiful garden or this beautiful space in nature. And you gently allow yourself to connect to your own inner wisdom. And just observe what that feels like. Observe what that looks like. Perhaps there's an animal or a bird that approaches you. Perhaps there's a being of light that steps towards you. Just allow what needs to happen to happen. Is there any insight or any wisdom that is being shared with you now? Just allow yourself to hold on to that, to remember it. And now when you're ready, find your way back to the path where we started. And follow the path back to the space that you're in, to this body, to this human form. Taking a few deep breaths, allowing your awareness and your consciousness to settle back into your body. Move your fingers and your toes. And open your eyes when you're ready. So no one's videos are on, so I can't see if you're back or not. I hope that you are. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning. You'll have to see what's going on with my Zoom so that we don't have this next week. I hope you can all make it. I'm not sure if there's anything anyone would like to share or any questions. All right. Well, I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ah, there you are. There's a beautiful face. It's really strange not to see everyone's faces doing this. Get my own. All right. Thanks, everyone. and I'll see you all next week. Cheers.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.